Hey everyone, welcome back to another sculpture video. Today I'm going to be showing you this small toy I made. It's a little character that I created from on my own. It's influenced by kind of the 50s old school Looney Tune caricatures with a little bit of like SpongeBob. And it's kind of a sailor egg character. My family keeps saying it looks like Humpty Dumpty. But yeah, I haven't thought of a name yet, but I was thinking maybe something like Eggward, just kind of a little pun. But showing you here, there is articulation. It has a swivel system, a swivel joint system. So far, it's a very basic figure. I just wanted to make something basic just to test out articulation, and I think I did a pretty decent job. So it can like swivel in a 360, and this is just kind of showing you the system that I set up. So obviously there's like a peg in there, and then there's the thing to kind of hold it in place so that it can swivel. And then I just cut the peg a little short just so that it can, it's not sticking out too much. And then I made 4 of them. I actually have a 5th one that's being made right now, but these are all resin casted figures, so they have a bit of sturdiness to them, a bit of brittleness, but because especially the body piece is a little thin, but they're pretty solid, well glued together. And I even put some filler in there just so that they don't break apart. But yeah, so I figured I'd show you the whole construction process, so let's go ahead and get right to that. And here's the sculpting process, where as you'll see, originally I wanted to make this kind of a 2-part piece. I wanted to sculpt like 2 pieces so that I could just easily kind of take a mold of each piece but the problem ended up being that the clay or the epoxy, because this is an epoxy sculpt, the white variant, it ended up fusing together, even though I tried using the Vaseline to kind of separate it. But it just ended up fusing together anyways. It ended up being one piece regardless. But yeah, starting with this piece, this is actually the body of the figure. And you're seeing right here, I'm kind of sculpting the eyes out. Basically just, this is just the entire face. You'll see it like right now I'm sculpting kind of, sort of making blocking the shapes of the eyes. And I was really trying to keep this from being a little too uncanny. Like there was times where I kind of felt like it was starting to look a little more creepy. And like I wasn't trying to make it look cute, but I was trying to make it look, kind of friendly and cartoonish, like I said, like kind of like those old school Looney Tune characters. So I was trying to keep it something more in line with that, but I feel like it ended up looking a little more creepy. But I think that's only because the eyes were so blank, and so it ended up having sort of a unnatural look to it. But I think once it's painted, it actually turned out pretty good. But yeah, I'm just kind of going over here and just, making little snakes of clay, and just kind of trying to blend it into the sculpt, and just making, just making the little details, just trying to keep it very basic. And here I am doing the back. Now, originally this was supposed to be sort of more of a tuxedo kind of character. I'm like kind of think of like the Monopoly Man kind of thing. Eventually it just kind of transformed into sort of a sailor outfit. I don't know why. I can't remember exactly why, but I think just something about it I was looking at and I was like, I don't know, this just feels more like a sailor than it does the kind of like business kind of suit looking character. So I was like, yeah, let me just go ahead and go with that. And yeah, I mean, as you can see, I'm just trying to, I think this is the little kind of handkerchief kind of thing that, they have on their back sometimes. And yeah, I mean, I just looked up like stock, cartoon sailor outfit, and kind of found an ideal look. And here I'm trying to make the arms. And yeah, I'm just going for like that very basic sort of tube looking shape, and just trying to make the little shoulder pieces and the hands. Actually, I think right here are the feet. I'm trying to kind of block out the feet, and I had a little trouble kind of making the feet, which is why in the end they end up looking a little more basic and not really well detailed. Like you see right here, I'm trying to kind of give them somewhat of a, like, not realistic, but just kind of a little more of a, you know, more defined shoe appearance. But I ended up having to just kind of ignore that and go for simplicity. Right here, I didn't show the mold making process, but it's what I used before. It's the Umu 30 silicone mold making, and it's a 2-part, you know, just mix it, stir it well together, and then I make a 2-piece mold. I use Vaseline so that it separates easier. It's probably better to use a mold release, but I prefer using Vaseline because it's a little easier. I don't have to put so many coats. But keep in mind, it is a little thick, and so it does leave some indents and unnecessary details on the mold. So if, you know, just be wary of that. Try and use a thin layer of it. But here's kind of how it, you know, how the mold looks and everything. Just kind of wanted to give you an idea of kind of, you know, what it looks like. And here I'm using the resin, and like I said, it's generic resin that I was able to find at Michael's. Probably not the best material, but it's strong and sturdy enough that it works just fine. And yeah, just a 2-part, stirred very well. Make sure you have the right amounts, otherwise it's going to be a little too bendy and not have that sturdy, strong feeling to it. But yeah, and here I am just kind of pouring it. And going on to painting, I wanted to put a primer first. I actually washed them because some parts were a little sticky from the residue. I just washed them, let them dry, and then gave them about a couple coats of primer just to kind of get them ready. And it was annoying because some of the pieces kept flying because they were so little and the spray was pushing them apart. But here you can see me doing the process of making the swivel joints. And like I said, I kind of cut them down to shape, put them in place. Just made sure they fit well, and then I started, basically this entire process is just me gluing the figure together and just getting everything together. And then after that, after I do all the gluing, I basically just do touch-ups, like with the filler, like the clay, and then I'd get started on painting. And here we have, you know, I try to make an egg white, but I end up making more of a yolk. But eventually off screen I made it more of that white, you know, because right now it looks a little more yellow. But if off camera I was able to kind of get more of that white, as you can see right here, that off-white look. And then I just use a mix of whites, reds, and blues with the black for the pupils, and that's basically my character. And yeah, and just like I said, just trying to go for a very, very basic look here. I'm painting the eyes white just so that they stand out a little more. And even though, you know, the figure was prime white, I wanted to just give it a layer of white anyways, just so it could be a little more consistent. And here's where the black comes into play. So I wanted to kind of have, you know, the mouth be just sort of, you know, just a generic black color, and the eyes, same thing. I wanted to give it kind of like that, you know, to kind of, because like how old cartoons would have like the sort of glare look by adding the triangle. Yeah, and here's just some pictures that I just wanted to show off. Just, you know, again, just showing off the articulation, everything. I like how this came out. But yeah, that about does it for this video. I appreciate y'all for checking it out. And if you're curious to see more pictures of this, you should check out my Instagram page, Giovanni Arts and Collectibles. There I'll try to, you know, I try to post pictures of, like, you know, my art, my homemade kind of figures, the, you know, and just other my other collectibles. But yeah, so be sure to check that out. And yeah, thank y'all for watching this video, and have a great day. Bye.